Welcome, everybody. We will give everyone a few minutes here before we get started with our agency webinar. Very excited to have this focus and some exciting things for everybody to see here, but we want to make sure everyone that wants to join gets in, so we'll wait a few minutes. Thanks again for signing up and appearing here with us today. We will get started in a minute or two. It's probably a good time to mention that the chat or the Q&A is open as well. So if you have questions as we go throughout the webinar today, feel free to drop them in there and we will answer them as we go.
While we're waiting for that, can we get a quick check? Can everybody see Steve's screen and hear us both okay? You can drop that into the chat if you wouldn't mind.
Check, check. Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Great.
All right. Great turnout. Appreciate everybody's time today. We have about 30 minutes to go through some agency-specific things that we've done. This is our first agency-only webinar of the year. I'm Steve Hartman, the Product Marketing Manager for GatherUp, and Chris Walker, our agency sales manager, is also on the call, and we'll be going through a few things with you today specific to agencies. Let's get started. And of course, we will record this and send this out afterwards. So, if you want to take notes, great, but don't feel like you have to. We will share the slide deck afterwards. So today's webinar agenda, we are going to talk about an in-app agency resource center for you. Previously, our resources were in our user guide, which wasn't always the most useful. And so we put them into our agency dashboard where you will have access to that information right in the application. We're also going to hit on the Reputation Scorecard, which we've teased a little bit. We've had in beta, but we are fully live with that now as of 2 days ago, I believe. So we'll show you some of that. And then Chris will walk through how to use that in your sales and marketing functions. Another document that we have that will be white labelable is called our Anatomy of the Sale. Really just a walkthrough on selling reputation management, selling this service, and then the best tips and practices for you and your agency team. The last thing we're going to talk about today is something that's become pretty popular with GatherUp customers, and that's an opportunity to also buy Sendable, which is a sister company of ours. We're owned by the same ownership group. Sendable is a social media management platform, and there are discounts available for people who use both GatherUp and Sendable, and Chris will talk about that as well. We'll try to leave a couple minutes at the end for Q&A in case there are questions that come up. As I said earlier, if you weren't on, the Q&A chat is open. So if you have questions as we go, feel free to drop them in and we can answer them as we go as well. Or if you prefer to save them, we'll have time at the end. All right, let's get started. So the in-app agency resources. This is in the agency dashboard. So you all should see that when you log in. Account owners and admins have access to this. There is potential down the road if you feel a need to maybe have a toggle on and off for different permission levels. Let us know in that feedback. But right now it's just owners and admins. There you're going to find templates, research data, blogs of interest. And of course, as everything we do, feedback is always welcome. So we want to make sure that this is giving you the resources you need to be successful selling reputation management. So quickly, here's what it looks like. Like I said, you log into your agency dashboard. On the left-hand nav, you'll see agency resources. Once you click that, the page will open, and this is where you have all your documents and information. So at the top, we have some templates, slides. You can all download right from here, and then a list of documents that have been in our user guide in the past, but we just moved them into this into the agency resources in application. Down below, we have some blogs that we think are useful, things that agencies have typically used to sell, to train their staff. So if there's other things you want to see in here, again, feel free to let us know. We also have some case studies that you may find useful, as well as some of the research and data that we've provided over the years. So again, if there's things you need to see here, different white label documents, please let us know. But hopefully this is a much better experience and easier to find as you are navigating GatherUp. It's right there within the application. Also added to your agency dashboard is the Reputation Scorecard. As I said, we've kind of been teasing this for a while. We just wrapped up the beta. We're live now with this tool. And really, this is all about helping you win new customers. At Locology about a month ago, CallRail had some research from agencies, and it said 82% thought that client acquisition was going to be harder this year than it had been. And so this is something that we brought to the table, hopefully to help you close more business, find new prospects, and then even keep the existing customers that you have happy. So again, within your agency dashboard, you'll have the Reputation Scorecard in your left-hand nav bar. So when you go there, you'll see your Reputation Scorecard screen. On the right is a create report, and there's also a leave feedback button, which, again, we appreciate any feedback you can leave on this tool. Once you click the create report, it's very simple, similar to how you'd add a location or a client. You enter the business address here. So if you're looking at a prospect, you put their address name in the report. The drop down will identify the business that you're looking for. Click generate my report. And then from there, it'll give it a minute or two, 5 minutes at the most, usually. And then you'll see this in the Reputation Scorecard list. So as you build these out, you'll see the date that they're created, the business name, their overall score, which we'll talk about in a second. And then the links, and this is the way you're going to deliver it to your client or showcase it in a presentation. So you have your PDF or an HTML version as well.
So for those of you who missed our last webinar, definitely head over to gatherup.com/webinar. We definitely do a live demo of this Reputation Scorecard and go a little bit more in depth. Today, I kind of want to talk about how you would present this to somebody that you're selling to. We've been using this now on our own sales team. It's been working beautifully with every single call. We always add the client's business to our scorecard. And this is where we kind of kick off the call. So jumping into this, I want to talk about these four areas of volume, rating, recency, and sentiment, and how you want to present it to a client when making a sale. Starting out in volume, we're going to, first of all, pull in the reviews, generally Google and Facebook. We always pull from Google, but we're also looking at other sites that this person might be on. So we'll typically pull from those top 2 sites there. And the best part about this and the most compelling piece to this is that competitive analysis. So down below, you'll notice we've whited out the name of the individual that we are presenting this to, but this individual saw that StaffWorks Group had more reviews than him. StaffWorks Group is just down the street from him. He's very familiar with who they are. And when he saw this really got his competitive juices going. So it's very important. We find that businesses should be striving for anywhere from 100 to 200 reviews, if not more, depending on the industry. Of course, every industry is a little bit different. But most importantly, you want to be number 1 in your area. So when I was talking to this gentleman, I showed him this, and right away I said, you're in striking distance of StaffWorks groups, but they have more reviews than you. So when presenting this, make sure volume is probably one of your most important pieces as to show this individual why they need review generation, why it's so important, because they're falling behind that local competition. Now, the next one is rating, and this is the one you're going to want to see in green. I mean, as much as reputation management will help a business and turn around a bad customer service experience, you can't always fix a broken tire. So if they have a poor reputation, certainly they absolutely need to work on fixing that. But also as a sales individual, you're able to point out situations like this where you say, listen, you have a good reputation. You're at 3.9. You're only a few reviews away from that 4-star rating. But as you can see, Staffworks is still beating you. So when someone's searching for your business in your city and they see Staffworks with more reviews, with a higher rating, who are they going to pick? So what we're doing again is showing this individual that we can help them. We are going to help them get up there, and we're giving them that marker. We're going to get up to Staffworks and surpass them. Recency becomes important because in this case, this individual is within 14 days, which is great. But there's been plenty of research done where we found that reviews over 3 months old have very little to no effect on a searcher's buying decisions. So certainly recency becomes vitally important. If you see them past 90 days, you can let them know that the majority of their reviews aren't being considered as useful to searchers. But again, we want to see how they compare to that local competition and how they stack up locally. The last bit is sentiment. I'll be honest, guys, this is a nice little tool in that what we do is we look for reviews with lots of great content in it. We try to pull both positive and negative if they exist. Not necessarily an area you're going to dive into and really use in your sales presentation very hard, but certainly each one of these is clickable. So you can click them and drive into that actual review if you did want to review that with the customer. But again, I wouldn't get too bogged down with that bit. Focus on volume and rating and how they compare to that local competition. Your dream prospect is the number 2 person. They're right behind that top person. They have somebody ahead of them. They have a goal, a marker for you to set that you're going to try to overtake them and become top in their local market.
Chris, we got a great question from Greg. He asked if we can automatically send the scorecard to existing clients on a recurring basis. My understanding is that we don't have that currently, but that's a great bit of feedback. I think we've heard that from others, that this is kind of a great tool for existing customer relationships that you can kind of measure as you go. So start, month 1 and see where we're at and kind of use it in that way as well.
So Greg, one thing you'll notice is that we do have the beta tag still on that. That is because we are looking for these suggestions. If it's not too much for you, if you wouldn't mind emailing support@gatherup.com and let them know of this suggestion. I'll also take a note here if you'd like, and I can present it. We want these presentations. We want these ideas. Currently, right now, you're not able to do that, but that's the kind of feedback we need as we make iterations to this and continue to move forward. So really, what is this tool going to do and how to pitch it right? Really what you want to be able to get from this is be able to build value for prospects as well as current clients. It's also a marker for you. If you've signed somebody up 3 months later, hop in there and actually pop them in again and see how they're stacking up against that local competition. That's a great email for someone to receive. Hey, by the way, we just passed Staffworks. You're doing fantastic. Keep up the good work. We're number 1 in your market. So now we just got to keep going. Also will help for you to identify pain points. I'm going to talk a bit later about pain points and where they come in. But when you're selling a solution, this solution has to solve their pain point. So this will help you identify those and really give them the best they can do. And again, our main focus on this and main reason for this has been a long requested feature. So for those of you on this call who did request this for a while, we do appreciate that. Again, our main goal is to help you gain more clients, sell more, and be able to retain existing ones by showing them how they stack up against that local competition. So for those of you that don't know, I've been here at GatherUp now for 5 years, working both with our agencies as well as our multi-location businesses. But I'm also recently been promoted to sales team lead. So my job is to help our sales team be the best type of salespeople they can be, as well as train any new ones that are coming onto the team. And one of the documents I created internally here and been using for a while now is one I want to share with you guys today. And it's something I've named the anatomy of a sale. My girlfriend hates the name, but I think it's a great name. But essentially what it does is it breaks down how you're going to sell this as a service. For those of you that want, you're certainly welcome to take screenshots, but as Steve mentioned, we will be sending out these documents to you afterward. So no need to grab screenshots if you don't want to. But essentially, when I came over from a marketing agency, again, I spent years working in the digital marketing space. Coming on to GatherUp, I realized that I was used to selling a service, and now I was selling a solution. And selling a solution is much different than selling a service. So it was a bit of a learning curve for me to understand what is the difference in selling these solutions. So what I've done in this document is I've broken down 3 parts of the sales process: the opening, the pitch, and then the close. So let's jump into the opening first. So every good prospect will come out and tell you, or yeah, this is my pain point. Or I should say your dream prospect will tell you, this is my problem, and let you know exactly what their problem is. But in most cases, they won't. You're going to need to uncover what that pain point is. Again, we're selling a solution to these individuals. So we need to ensure that they actually have the problem that our solution is going to fix for them. So your reputation scorecard will talk a bit about this. You may be able to uncover some pain points there, but it's important for you to ask the questions, understand the pain point, and then ensure that the customer knows that you understand these pain points as well. So as we jump into this, we really want to make sure we're asking questions, uncovering what their pain point, what their issue might be. There might be 1, there could be 4 or 5 or 6. We want to uncover this. And it may seem like a very rudimentary thing to say, but make sure you're validating this as they're talking with, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that sounds terrible. Be genuine to actually take interest in their business. Because I'll be honest with you, if you don't have interest in their business, they will not buy from you. They won't trust that you have their best interest at heart. Also, make sure you are writing down these points. We will be using them later in the call. Here are a couple of examples of questions that you can ask to get them to start talking about their business in relation to reviews. The one I like the most, and this is definitely one I've used when coupling it with Google AdWords back in the day, is, I did some searching and I saw you were doing paid ads. Don't worry, I didn't click on any of them. Talk to me a bit about your paid ad spend. Do you find it's converting well? And the reason why you want to start this conversation is over the years, I've seen nothing drain a budget more than a poor reputation. Yes, it's great to be on the first page of Google for all those great keywords, but if your reputation is garbage, then people aren't going to buy from you. So these are examples of some questions that you can ask to get them to start talking about their business and uncover those pain points. Now, after you do this, after you've uncovered your pain points, you need to assure that you are correct in your assumptions, but also ensure that they know you're being heard, that they're being heard. So examples of that, you're going to have, of course, written down those pain points. And before you get into any pitch, you're going to say things like, just to clarify, you're having difficulty managing reviews for all your 13 locations. One of the most common ones we get is, so to recap, your staff are instructed to ask every customer for a review, but rarely do. Restate these pain points back to them. Your first goal is to ensure that you understand them, but your second goal here is to make sure that the customer realizes that you have their best interest at heart. Do not move on until this customer indicates that yes, you have their pain points correct, and yes, you are understanding their situation. So when we get into the pitch, the most simplest way to summarize what GatherUp does and what your system does for clients is it helps them generate reviews, manage reviews, and then market those reviews to customers. So your goal is to take their pain points and figure out which one of these areas does it fall into. Is it review generation? Is it manage? Is it market? Is it all of it? Really figure out where they're going to fall into. And then I don't care what the normal order of your pitch is. Your very first point should be that main pain point. So if it's review generation, hop in to show them the best request mode for them. I think you'd be a great candidate for a review mode. What you'll see here is this is a quick two-step process. We get a net promoter score rating, and then we go directly to a positive or a negative landing page, depending on that rating there. Positive landing pages, we're looking for a review. Negative landing pages, of course, we're looking for direct feedback. Always, of course, making sure that you're explaining to them Google's review gating policy and making sure that they understand why review links are there and why it's imperative that they stay on the right side of review gating. If it's negative reviews, that's a great opportunity to say, awesome, our software, what it does is it's going to help monitor those reviews. Most of the negative reviews in the future will be generated internally with direct feedback from customers. But if you do get that negative review, we will know about it immediately. And some agencies also couple this with review reply as a separate service. If it's poor ad spend, auto tagging and tag widget. I wish I could shout this from the treetops. Use auto tagging. Tag the products, tag the services that they do. When those keywords appear in a review, you can have a tag widget on that page that directs that review to that particular page. Not only is it content for Google to read on that page in regards to their products and service, but more importantly, it helps convert more people that are directed to that site because they're able to read the reviews from people who have used that product or service.
Quick pause there, Chris. Jillian's asking, where is the tag widget? So the tag widget, Jillian, is going to be in your publish section of GatherUp. And it's going to be, the key thing is that you have to have those tags set up first, right? So set up those tags so that you are pulling in those reviews. And then when you set up the tag widget, it's just like the review widget, except you're going to choose the tag. So for instance, if you're working with a auto repair company and you have a section on the website for tires, you're going to want tires reviews that mention tires pulled into that tag widget so that can be displayed on the tires page.
So Jillian as well, our search guide, or our help guide is completely indexed on Google as well. So if you go to Google and search GatherUp auto tagging, that will bring up the article on how to set up your auto tagging so that those keywords get applied. Much like an AdWords group, you'll take a particular product or service and the different keywords that relate to that product or service. As well, when you're in our help guide, you can search for tag widget. And we do have an article in the help guide that will show you how to install that tag widget on those pages as well. Now, next step in the pitch is you got to do a temperature check. Before you go on to a close, you must find out if you've actually met their needs, if you think you've shown them the solution to their problem. My favorite line is what I've used. I've now gone through what I've asked them the questions. I've identified their pain point. And now I'm asking them, or I've shown them their pain point. And now I'm finding out if what I showed them is actually what they need. So my favorite line to use is, so based on what we covered earlier, you said you needed, enter this, put in the solution. Would you say this matches what you were looking for? If yes, then that's a good opportunity to say, yeah, okay, perfect. Generate reviews. It does exactly what you wanted there. Is this something you'd like me to set up for you? Ask them this. See if they're ready to go now. This isn't necessarily, you don't have to show them the rest of the product. So you're doing a trial close now. If they're ready to set up now, then let's get it going, continue the process and go right into the close. Likely they're going to see, I'd like to see more of the product. Now you can spend a little bit more time adding value to that. But ask them, based on what you told me earlier, do you feel that what I just showed you meets that criteria or solves that pain point for you. So if no, I always like to say, okay, let me ask you this. What would your dream state be? What is this missing? Because it may just be what it's missing is something that you may have forgot to mention, or it may exist in another area of the product. So it allows you to, again, identify that pain point again, show them the solution, and go right back into the pitch. The close is obviously the most important one. If your trial close got them across the line, that's it. Start the sign up process now. I'm sure everybody's on the right side of this, but please do not make your sign up process difficult. You're not stacks over a stack of paperwork. Just be simple, to the point, get them onboarded, get them ready to go. Make it a quick and easy process for them. But sometimes you're going to need to ask for the sale. For new salespeople, this is sometimes the hardest part. The line I like to use is, so sound like something I can get set up for you? And then mute yourself. Be quiet. Do not say the next word. The next word will come out of the client's mouth or the prospect's mouth. I literally sat there for a minute with a gentleman where he started chuckling and he goes, yeah, you're not going to talk, are you? And I said, no. And he's like, that's funny. I use that too. Good job. And he started up with that. So again, ask for the sale. Don't expect them to say, yeah, I'm ready to buy. Ask them. If they're not saying it, ask them. You've identified their concerns. You've validated their concerns. You've shown them a solution. They've confirmed with you that that is the solution that they're looking for. Now it's time to ask for that sale and get them across the line.
Chris, is there a sample? Do you have any samples, or do we have samples on closing documents? Kind of going through what you just talked about.
We don't have any samples on closing documents. I'm worried that this question might be in relation to contracts. We stay away from contracts ourselves because the state laws in almost every single state are different. We do have a terms of service that you can look at on our website. But in terms of closing documents like contracts, no, we don't get into that. We're not lawyers at all. But mainly what you want to do is, get their credit card number and get them billed for their first month and get them set up and book an onboarding call with them.
Darren also asked a question on assuming the sale. So what are your thoughts on that concept where you're just basically assuming the next step is they're signed up?
So assuming the sale is fine, if the temperature of that call calls for it, you can absolutely assume the sale. The thing you might find is that that individual feels they're being sold to all of a sudden, that it's not their decision, it's your decision. They might get their back up against the wall. So definitely assuming a sale can work. It is a good proven sales tactic. However, if you're a little too aggressive with that, and this person is not the type of person that responds well to that kind of sale, you're going to have a tough time. Darren very well knows Joy Hawkins. If Joy Hawkins feels like she's being sold to, she will not buy from you. She wants to be given a proper solution. So those types of people, I would not do the assumptive close, as I like to call it, but definitely ask for that sale. So you ready to get this set up? Something like that.
So maybe have a real high EQ if you're going to do that tactic.
Right. Now, if in the close they say, send me an email, let me think about it, chances are they're a little unsure about the money. Again, if you've gone through every single point of validating their concern and making sure you have the right solution for them, it might be a financial one. So typically I would say something along the lines, okay, no problem. Earlier you told me pain point and I showed you feature and you verified that that would solve that pain point for you. Can I ask you, is it price that's concerning for you? If you agree that we can help you with that, I can see if my manager can get a discount for you. Always make sure you're empowering your salespeople with discounts, not free trials necessarily, but discounts, and not a lifetime discount. No, the first month at most. But make sure they have that in their back pocket as something they're able to utilize. If I'm closing a client on the phone and they tell me, yeah, I'd be willing to go with you if you can get me a discount, Okay, no problem. Let me put you on hold and let me just make sure I can get that verified. I put the person on hold, they do a little happy dance. Okay, I got a sale, knowing that I can come back and give them their first month at half off. Great news, my manager approved your first month at 50%. So we can get you started now. All I need to do, and then get into that pitch. Free trials. I do see the question there about free trials personally. So at GatherUp, we do offer free trials. It is something we're doing to get us aligned with other softwares that are doing it. My only issue with that is, as an agency, you're providing this as a service. And if they have unreasonable goals, then no matter what you do during those 14 days, it's going to be difficult to actually get them to pay. My recommendation is get a card on file, get some sort of agreement in place that they're going to be trying it for 90 days. We offer a cancel anytime. And if anybody cancels in the first 30 days, we refund their money. Our cancellation rate is sub 1%. So we have a very, very, very good retention rate with our team because of our service offerings. And to be honest with you, the large majority of our signups never actually start with a free trial. They start with a demo and they sign up after the demo. All right. So again, we will get that document over to you. Again, I just want to share this. As many of you know, we were acquired by Traject, about 3 years ago now. One of the great companies that Traject has as well is Sendable. Now, what Sendable is, many of you might have used things like Sprout or Hootsuite, but what Sendable is, it's a social media management tool. So what it's going to do is help you create your content, give you ideas for content, and then most importantly, schedule that content to be published across your clients' platforms. So it, again, helps a great deal in planning those out. It helps a great deal in giving ideas, monitoring comments, monitoring all the messenger app conversations. And just make sure that either your client is involved in that or your agency is taking care of that for them. I've talked to several agencies over the last couple of months that have started to use Sendable and are coupling this with reputation management, going on the basis of your online reputation is important. We want to focus on reviews, but we also want to focus on social media. We want to make sure you have a strong reputation on social media with lots of great, helpful content. As well, as many of you know, we have our social share feature within our platform. So you're able to go in there and share directly. You can schedule posts directly through GatherUp, or you can download that document and put it into Sendable. So as Steve mentioned, we are running a few promotions for GatherUp clients. What I would ask is if it is something you want to look at and actually speak to the folks over at Sendable and do a demo. Again, they're going to be as nice and friendly as we are. They're actually based out of London, England. So you'll hear some nice accents when you talk to them. I'd ask you to reach out to me. Reach out to Chris at gatherup.com. I'll send you over a link where you're able to schedule a demo with them. I'll make sure that they know that you're a GatherUp client, and they'll definitely give you that great discount we're giving all the cross sells that buy both products.
All right, we are a little bit over time, so apologies for that. Anybody that needed to get out of here by 2 Eastern, but great content. We're going to share this out. We'll send an email follow-up with the recording of the webinar as well as the slides that we included today. But we wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity to have any other final questions answered before we end this month's webinar. Anything from the group?
So I do see a question as well about free trials for agencies. I'll say this, Alton, it's certainly something we're looking into. It's not on our current roadmap. However, we do have a feature request section within our CRM within Salesforce. I am making note of this now, and I will add this as your one-up that you have asked for this, and we'll certainly look at it in the future. I also see Darren Shaw wrote here, we use Sendable at Whitespark. It's great. So he's connecting a few of his clients, Google My Business, and scheduling to their GMB. Thank you very much, Darren, for that sort of head nod there. Do appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you haven't been following some of Mike Blumenthal's articles, he's done a few posts recently about visual search, which is just becoming more and more important. So that GBP posting, really good images that outline what's happening for the business. There's some really cool AI programs out there too that can help you create images that will help you in local search. So keep an eye on that and use that social share button. I think we're good then. Thanks again, everybody, for attending. Great turnout. We appreciate your time. We'll follow up and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.